Potential items you will need: a chair or some kind of elevated edge type surface. So whether it's access to edge of a chair, a bed, a sofa, a cupboard, whatever it is, that would be great. That'll be just for some shoulder stuff. And then also a strap and a block. The block is the one that I think we're least likely to use. So don't worry too much if you don't have that. But a strap. There might be some stuff at the wall. So hopefully that'll be doable. It'll be higher, like standing level stuff. So if you haven't got a lot of space around the bottom, that's okay. And again, it will be really, really brief if I remember to put it in. So again, stress. Either way, just be mindful, of course. I feel like I'm probably making this sound a lot worse than it's actually going to be, but just be mindful that it is going to be a bit strong today. So Charnay, just be careful with your hip. You know, if you've got things going on, just be aware of what's happening in your body. But same as always, just because things are strong doesn't mean that we want to lose that connection of actually, how does this feel? Is this a good idea for me right now in terms of my energy levels? Is this a good idea for me right now in terms of my body? And always having that freedom to be like, no, this is not working for me, so I'm just going to sit this out. As always, zero pressure, zero stress. Okay, so we'll start off. We'll revisit our breathing actually. So find a comfortable seat. So if you want to get straight into that alternate nostril breathing that we've done the last few weeks, so blocking one nostril, breathing in, switching, breathing out, breathing in, switching, breathing out, I'm going to allow you just to get straight into that, or you're more than welcome to take any other breathing exercises that you might be working with or might be familiar with, or just to sit for a few minutes, just observe your breath. All right? So closing your eyes, tuning into your breathing, either continuing to observe or adding a bit of manipulation. We'll spend a couple of minutes here. take your time, sort of finish your round or bring that to a close. Maybe have a moment to pause in your seat, and then you're going to make your way down to lie on your back. And again, we're just going to take maybe 2 or 3 minutes to get into our bodies, which I realise is very vague. So as you come down to rest on your mat, you want to take some particular stretches or twists or actions. Maybe you want to sort of roll slightly around the mat, so allowing that kind of interaction between the back of the body, maybe the sides of the body and the surface beneath you. That kind of massaging of the body. You might be wanting to take very big movements. You might be taking almost imperceivable, imperceptible movements. If there are any particular parts of your body that feel a little bit tight or a little bit grumpy, what might make them feel a little bit happier, a bit warmer, a bit more prepared for a physical practice. Maybe your focus is a little bit more on waking yourself up energetically if you still feel, well, actually, I'm quite enjoying lying on the mat. I'd quite like to stay here for an hour. Do you want to indulge that? Do you want to start to sort of prepare yourself for a little bit more movement? Listening to the feedback that you get from your body, particularly when we're taking things that are a little bit stronger, that's going to be really important. We want to have that balance between listening to our body, listening to that feedback, so we know, okay, does this feel okay? Is there any way that this thing could feel a little bit better, a bit more comfortable, a bit easier, a bit more challenging perhaps, but balancing it with not getting too bogged down in the, oh my goodness, this is really hard, if that's the kind of loudest voice. And you've still got about a minute or so, but start to think about making your way up to a seat. Maybe you'll take a little bit more time to move and to kind of warm up or ease into your body once you're in your seat. Once you find your seat, or once you've had a bit of time, just make sure you've included a little bit of movement through the spine. So maybe some circles or some cat-cows. Again, there's no rush. If you're not there yet, don't worry too much. And then we're going to take some time to warm up the wrists, get the core active, get the hips active as well before we start to make our way to standing. So when you're ready, comfortable seat, interlacing the hands and figure eighting the wrists. And again, if you've got your own kind of series of wrist warm-ups and things, I know that a lot of us have different kind of movement practices as well. If you've got a sequence that you know works for you, take that option. Otherwise, with us, but changing the direction of your figure of eights. A few little disco waves. We want to try and get all parts, the fingers, the wrists going. And again, so you can change the direction of your weight. Shaking the hands out quite a lot before coming to all fours. So it's a really good reminder of how much I need to clean the floors when I get on the mat. So coming to all fours, short all fours position with the fingertips turned around so they point underneath your body or back towards your knees and your thighs. Try and keep shoulders drawing away from ears as you ease the hips towards the heels. Maybe slightly shifting side to side, perhaps inhaling to release and exhaling to melt back, or you might be holding quite still. See if you can tune into the tips of your fingers and just slightly kind of grip the mat. Okay, so you're going to flip the hands, so back to the hands, down to the mat. Again, taking your time to set up, gently pushing the floor away, and again, easing hips towards heels, trying to keep the neck pretty long, pretty free. Again, releasing, shaking the hands out, coming to an all fours position, nice and strong. So keeping the tummy pulling in, we're going to take a few scapular press ups. So elbows are going to stay completely straight. You're going to allow the chest to sink down towards the floor and the shoulder blades will retract, will kind of squeeze together at the back of the body and then push the floor away. So you're protracting the shoulder blades, they wrap around the sides of the ribs. Again, elbows stay completely straight as you allow the chest to soften, shoulder blades to squeeze, and then pushing the floor away. So hopefully you'll feel a bit of that maybe slight stretch across the back of the shoulders. So a few more of those. Trying not to take that movement into the hips or the low back. They're going to stay nice and strong, nice and secure, tummy pulling in. Try to unclench your jaw at the same time. And then just sitting back into a child's pose when you're ready. The hips towards the heels, arms extended if that's feeling all right for you this morning. So you can choose how narrow, how wide you have the knees. I'm slightly shifting side to side. I find this just gives me a little bit of a gentle stretch through one side of the lats, the shoulders, and the other. Gently shifting my hips and my ribs. Making your way back up to all fours, tucking your toes under, and then sitting back onto the heels. So you're sitting upright. So feeling that opening sensation through the toes, through the feet. If this is too much, you may just slightly lean forwards, bring the bum away from the heels to make it a little bit less intense. Just taking a few breaths there. Awesome. And then coming back down again to your short all fours position. So that's hands under the shoulders and knees slightly further forwards than the hips. The knees are more like underneath your belly button, toes are tucked, arms can be locked, but maybe there's a slight bend in the elbows to take away some of that rigidity, some of that tension. Drawing belly into spine, low ribs in together, a slight protraction of the shoulders, that sense of pushing the floor away, and coming into your all fours hover or your bear hold. So the knees are going to hover just a millimeter away from the mat. Neck is long, neck is free. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Bringing the knees down, taking the weight out of the hands for a moment. We're going to take probably 3 or 4 more rounds. Each round is going to get slightly longer, and you'll have an option to progress the movement, make it more challenging. So again, setting yourself up for that all fours hover, hands under the shoulders, knees under the tummy, the belly button. Protracting shoulder blades, drawing in around the abdomen, so finding that stability of the spine, of the low back, hovering the knees. Again, just pause there for a moment, and then your option is to shift your weight around the mat, front, back, side, side, circling, but without letting the knees get higher. If it's too much, the knees can come down to your mat. Hands are spread wide, but a little bit of space as well beneath the palms. So you've got that kind of gripping action at the tips of the fingers, and allowing hands to be responsive and reactive to what you're doing. 3, 2, 1. Ace. Again, release. So instead of the hands just being completely spread wide and really pushing flat into the floor at all times, that kind of slight gripping action, and hopefully you'll be aware of that kind of rolling, shifting of weight through the palms of the hands. So we're going to take 2 more rounds. Of course, if any part of the body is like, no, this is too much for me at this stage, skip it. If you're ready for another round though, setting yourself up, and this time we're going to take single point lifts. So from that hover, your option is to lift one hand or one foot very slowly and very low away from the mat. So we're trying to take very small, controlled movements. You might feel, for example, as you lift one hand, the body's shifting over to the opposite side. You're having to maybe push the floor away from the mat a little bit harder. For 3, 2, 1. This is much harder than I remember it being. And then our last round, our last option is going to be some walks. So you'll be lifting and lowering opposite hand and foot. So from that all fours hover, lifting right hand and left foot. If you want, again, more challenge, you're going to work the control element to peel the hand and foot away from the floor, tiny movements, lift them at the same time, and really gently place them back down. So you're really kind of channeling your inner animal. So, when you're ready, if you're ready, all fours hover. Again, you can stay, you can just shift your weight around, you can stay with those single points. If you want to, go with some crawls. They're trying to lift and lower opposite hand and opposite foot at the same time. You might be taking your walks on the spot. They might be moving around the space, around your mat. Probably not big movements, or not a lot of movement. Keeping the low ribs hugging in, keeping the back of the shoulders slightly rounded towards the ceiling for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Coming to sit with the legs in a 90-90 setup. We'll take your right leg at the front first. So with your 90-90, the clue is in the title. We don't want the heels in towards the bum. You want 90-degree angles at the knee and also at the ankles, so the feet are going to be flexed. The left knee straight out to the side and shin parallel to the long edge of the mat, making sure, again, that front right heel is not tucked in, but the shin is parallel to the top edge of the mat. Trying to sit reasonably straight. And if, like me, your right knee is lifting, even if it's not, trying to just gently push that front leg, that front knee down into the floor. You're welcome to have the hands down to help support you, or they can lift. But again, strong front leg pushing down, in a sense of being strong, supported, but also lengthened through the spine. So just taking that hold to begin with, pressing front leg down, just for good measure, pressing back leg down as well. 3, 2, 1. You're going to take a slow roll to the back of your mat. You're going to try and keep the knees as far away from each other as possible. So start by lifting up your left knee. Keep lifting the left knee, but pressing the front right knee down. Left knee up and back, front right knee down. When you can do that no more, Then you'll allow the front knee to lift, but you're still trying to keep the knees far away from each other, hands maybe behind you for more support. And as you roll to the back, you're trying to press the left knee down and keep the right knee almost pulling back. Obviously, there's going to come a point where you have to allow that right knee to find the floor. Reset your 90-90, and again, we're just going to take that hold, pressing the legs down. So do check that setup. And when you're ready, front leg is the focus to begin with. Just gently pressing front left knee down into the floor. Trying just slightly to square the ribs towards the top of the mat. And we talked about squaring, obviously, the last couple of weeks. More focus on the hips. Same thing with the ribs. We're slightly wrapping the right side forwards, but it doesn't have to be completely strict, completely rigid. Pressing the back knee down as well. Bit of length through the spine. 3, 2, 1, ace. And same thing, rolling to the front. Start by lifting the back knee, but still trying to press that front left knee down. Lift one, press down with the other. When you can go no more, that's when you'll roll. I've got my hands behind me for support. If you've got that space, if it's feeling good, then your challenge is to lift the hands and keep that nice lift through the spine. And again, once you're back on that first side, same thing, a little moment just to press the legs down, front knee particularly. Now keeping a sense of length in the spine, we're not going to allow the back to arch. Keep the tummy just lightly hugging back for support and take a little lean forwards over that front leg. Keep pressing 2 knees down, keep leaning forwards. Now instead of relaxing over the legs, so if you are all the way over, come up just a little bit higher. Make sure the shoulders are slightly lifted so you're not rounding towards the floor. And then your challenge here is to take the arms back behind you like you're wearing a cape. So you might be much lower than me, but try not to rest the body on that front thigh. So I'm going to use the abdominals for 3, 2, 1. Ace. Allow the body to lift. Hands can stay up or down. You're going to pick up your back leg. Think of lifting the knee and the foot simultaneously. You're going to sweep it around in front of you. The foot will tap the floor. So you're going from internal to external rotation, I think. And then lifting it and taking it back to where it came from. 90-90, setting it down, bit of a push through the legs. We're going to switch, roll, same thing at the back. Your knees trying to stay away from each other. And again, when you reach the back of your mat, check your setup. Nice long spine, pressing the legs down. And then taking that little reach forwards, or a big reach forwards. And seeing if you can lift the hands away. Try and slightly retract the shoulder blades. Roll the shoulder heads back. Keep pressing the legs down. For 3, 2, keep going, and 1. Nice, coming up, lifting the back leg, knee and foot, sweeping it around. Little tap in front of you, lifting it, taking it back behind you. Well done. Rolling back again to face the front of your mat. And then, once you get there, just making your way up to standing. Okay, so coming up to standing, grabbing your strap. Oh, goodness me. So giving a shake to whatever needs it. And we're going to take a few little dislocates. Because we know how much we love them. So grabbing your strap, starting with the arms maybe fairly wide. A bit of tension in the strap, inhaling as the shoulders come up towards the ears. Oh, I've over-egged that. And exhaling as the arms come back behind you. Keeping the arms straight, keeping a bit of tension in the strap. And again, inhaling to lift the shoulders. And exhaling, arms in front of you. Keep that going. So the wider the arms, in theory, the less stress is going to be on the shoulders. If you want more challenge, Take the hands closer. I've definitely neglected these since we did them over the summer. So really trying to take the arms up and over at the same time. Keep them both straight. Okay. Once the arms are back in front, feel free to ditch your strap, just put it to one side. Okay, just take a little bit of time to circle the ankles. Just make sure that we're connecting to the feet, to the ankles for our balance, which is coming. And then you're going to start at the back of your mat. So just to make sure we're a little bit grounded, a little bit balanced, nice steady drishti, bit of grounding down through the feet, find that foundation and just pick up one leg, doesn't matter which, we're going to do both sides. It could be a tree pose, it could be a particular shape, or it might just be something a bit more casual, your choice. Just finding a little bit of balance, a bit of calm on one leg. And same thing on the other side, remembering to take that time through the transition and to find your foundation, to shift weight, to find a sense of being firm through your standing foot. And some days it'll be quite a smooth transition, other days you might need a bit more time to set that up. Okay, and then just standing at the back of your mat. So feet comfortably placed for you, and the arms are coming up to the ceiling. So we're going to circle, right arm forwards, make sure you've got space, she says, right arm forwards and left arm back. So right arm forwards and left arm back. Oh, my shoulders are very clunky this morning. If possible, then moving at the same time. So you'll take sort of a twist, the arms will pass at the bottom, twist to the other side, and up at the top, if that's helpful. Nice. Then see if you can switch sides, so left arm forwards and right arm back. So your first movement will be a twist over your right shoulder. That's it. Great. Give the arms a little shake out. And we go again. So arms up to the ceiling once more. Right arm forwards, left arm back 3 times. So 3 of those. Right arm forwards, left arm back. Once you've taken your 3, arms up to the ceiling, pick up your left knee, and you're going to take a little softening, like a twist, right elbow towards left knee. Step onto the left foot, arms up to the ceiling, take a walk forwards, bring right knee to left elbow. A little bend in both knees, little twist. And one more time, stepping forwards onto the right leg, pick up the left knee, little softening, little twist. From here, left arm is going to circle up and over, reaching to the front of the room as the left leg reaches back. So you've got a sort of asymmetrical warrior 3. Starting to take it down into a lunge, bending your right knee, left hand and left foot find the mat, right arm circle. Doesn't matter which way. 2 hands find the top of the mat, step it back, downward facing dog. Bit of time in that down dog. From your down dog, taking it forwards to a high plank, moving through a vinyasa, but taking a little bit of extra time in your back bend. So you haven't really worked that as yet. So indulging that back bend however you want, however you see fit. Taking your time to make your way back to your down dog. From there, lifting your right leg, stepping it to the top of your mat. And then you're going to take one step forwards to come to standing. So lifting fingertips away from the mat, strong push down through the right leg, come to stand at the top of the mat. You're going to take a half step back with your right foot. So we're coming to this kind of split stance. We're going to take 3 or 4 split stance hinges to walk backwards on our mat. So the front leg stays pretty straight, back knee is bent, back heel is raised. Nice straight spine. Come up to standing, plant right heel, little step back. So short step back. My knees are still sort of in a line with each other. Ball of the left foot, and again, hinge. Pushing the hips back. Split stance deadlift, if that's more familiar. 21, and again, planting that left heel, little step back with the right foot. Hopefully 3 is enough. Keeping the core controlled, so we're not swan diving down. Keeping those low ribs just slightly hugging in. Up to standing, stepping to the back of your mat. Arms come up to the ceiling. Was that all right? Yeah? All right, carrying on. So left arm forwards, right arm back. 3 circles. They could be controlled. You might choose to sort of swing the arms if you prefer. 3 alternate arm circles. Once you've done your 3, pick up your right leg, little softening, little twist. Stepping forwards onto right leg, same thing on the left. Little softening, little twist. One more time, onto the left leg. Little softening, little twist. Right arm comes up and over, right leg reaches back. Asymmetrical warrior 3. So by that I mean my right arm is reaching forwards, my left arm is reaching back alongside my left hip. Taking it down into your lunge with control. As you bend the left knee, eventually right hand and right foot find the mat, and that left arm circles, you get that nice big twist. Ace, 2 hands to the top of the mat, stepping back to your downward facing dog. Hopefully it's feeling perhaps a little bit more comfortable, a bit more familiar than that first one. Moving into your vinyasa, again, if you want to take a bit more time to indulge the back bend or any other part of your vinyasa, then take time to do that. If you want to just move through it quite quickly, get some heat, some speed going, then maybe you're taking 2 or 3. But once you're back into your downward facing dog, you're going to lift your left leg. Again, take your time, lifting your left leg, stepping it to the top of the mat. 1 big step to come up to standing. Then little step back with the left foot. And you're taking that hinge. Pushing the hips back, keeping the back heel high, coming up to standing. Shifting, stepping back, keeping the back heel high, nice and stable through the low back. If you come to standing, hopefully you'll feel that effort in the kind of top of the hamstring, the glutes in your back leg. Not letting the shoulders dip, not letting the back arch. So trying as well at the bottom of that hinge to make sure your chin, that you're looking down to the mat and not crunching the neck and looking forwards for coming up to standing. We're going to take that same sequence once more on each side. We're going to have a little change at the bottom. So when you're ready, arms up, right arm forwards, left arm back. 3 times those alternating circles. Then picking up your left leg for your first twist. You've got 3 of these twisty walks to come forwards. Left knee raises first, then right knee, then left knee. From that position, left leg reaches back, left arm circles over, warrior 3. Taking it down into your lunge, hand and foot find the floor, right arm circles. Right hand is going to find the top of the mat. Sweep that left leg up and back, 3-legged dog. Step your right foot wide outside of your right hand. Come onto the little toe edge of your left foot. Lift the right arm, eye line is down as you step back into a side plank. Little pause. Good. Keep looking towards the top of the mat as you step the right foot forwards, once again coming into that lunge. Push the floor away with the left hand, come onto the board of the left foot. Nice. Plant two hands, sweep the right leg back, three-legged dog. Step the right foot forwards, top of the mat. One big step up to standing. Spine long, bit of momentum, nice big push. Half step back with the right foot, split stance hinge. 3 of those, walking yourself back on your mat. Really pressing the hips back. So you might get a little stretch through the front leg, through the hamstring. It might feel a little bit strong through that back leg. Nice. Same thing on the other side. So once you're at the back of the mat, the arms raised. 3 alternating circles, right arm forwards, left arm back. Once you've taken your 3 circles, it will be the right knee that lifts. That's your first of 3 little balancing twists to walk you towards the top of your mat. Right arm sweeps over, right leg reaches back. Warrior 3. Down into your lunge. As the left arm sweeps, circles. 2 hands plant. Sweep the left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Step the left foot outside of the left hand. Moving into your side plank. Left arm raises, strong right arm, push the floor away. Keep your eye line down to the top of your mat to help your balance. If you want that challenge, move your eye line somewhere else. Stepping the left foot again to the top of your mat. You want to push the floor away as much as you can to the right arm before you take that big step to the top of your mat. It'll be the left foot that steps back this time for your little hinge. And again, shifting, walking back. Shifting, walking back. 3 times. And that is you done. Nice, just have a little moment to close the eyes, allow the hands to rest on the body or at the side of the body. Just to pause, to check in. And we're going to move out of that little flow and into a couple of little drills. Hooray! So, how are we doing for time? Oh, Lord. So you're going to need your chair or access to something similar, whether it is a sturdy coffee table, the edge of a bed, whatever it might be. Okay, so firstly, you're going to come to kneel in front of your item with the elbows on it. Hands in prayer. So it's going to open up through the shoulders. So shuffling the knees back a little further and encouraging the chest to drop down, melt down between the upper arms. Push down with the elbows, slightly allow the chest to lift. Now see if you can slightly tuck your low ribs back into the body and melt it down again. Sorry, Teresa, I feel like I might have rushed on without you. Oh no, you're good. Breathing, 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 breathing. Last 3, 2, 1, coming all the way up. Oy. This time, hands are going to be flat, so you might need to shuffle back a little bit more. And just seeing if that feels any different. Does this feel like a better variation for you? Is it much of a muchness? But again, allowing the chest to ease down towards the floor. If possible, not too much of the tailbone kicking up towards the ceiling. If you haven't got this much space, don't worry about it. Just stick with the elbows. Trying slightly to lengthen the lower back to support the lumbar spine. Great. And lifting up, making your way out. So you are still going to need your chair, but not quite yet. So just pop it, if it's on your mat or in your way, pop it to one side, or just going to take a couple more little upper body things. So a bit of kind of toing and throwing. Come to lie on your back. Knees bent, elbows bent, hands up towards the ceiling, palms facing inwards, or maybe clenched fists perhaps. Sorry, just bear with me, something's changed on my screen. So you put your knees bent and your elbows bent. What's happened? Okay, great. Knees bent, elbows bent. And what you're going to try and do is push the elbows down into the mat, squeeze the shoulder blades back, and the chest and the back of the shoulders will slightly lift away from the mat, and then release. It should feel like reasonably hard work. This is your kind of your pulling action, your retraction with resistance, with weight, that is pretty hard to get without equipment, but I think this is the way. I'd love to take credit for it. It was from another yoga teacher that I know, and I tried it. I was like, this is amazing. So bending the elbows, pushing them down into the mat, and the shoulder blades squeeze, little pause at the top, and then releasing. And again, maybe 2 or 3 more. Make sure you take that pause at the top, and if you're like, I'm not going anywhere, then just make sure that you're trying to push the elbows down and squeeze the shoulders back. The lift, again, is sort of the least important thing. And it might be a matter of building that kind of, that mind-body connection. Oh, hang on, my body hasn't done this like this, but hasn't performed this action like this before. Can I just fire up those connections this time around? And maybe next time, it might be a bit more familiar. You might get a little bit more engagement, a bit more movement maybe. One more for good measure. Little pause at the top. Okay, beautiful. And release. You're going to come back up to standing. So at this point, I don't know if you will, oh, you will be able to see, of course you will. You're going to need a little bit of wall space. And preferably, I'm just going to use this because it's here, but preferably you'll have something that has a little bit more range for you, if you like. Keeping nice and stable through the low body. A step away from the wall, you're going to fall into it and push away. So like a little mini push. You're going to make sure that you're keeping in a straight line and push away. So not sinking into the shoulders, not sinking into the low back, but keeping nice and strong. Little push-ups, little kind of dynamic press-ups. But then you're going to change the position of your arms and of your hands every time you meet the wall. So you're not just taking a regular push-up position, but challenging yourself to move in different ways. So changing the angle of the fingertips, changing the placement of the arms, and making sure that the low back stays secure, stays stable the whole time. Obviously, to make it slightly easier, you'll stand closer to the wall, and to make it harder, you'll stand further away. Awesome. See if there are any other places you can put your arms. Any other ways you can arrange them, good. Take 3 more. Picking numbers out of thin air, as always, over here. Nice. Beautiful. And then you're going to come away from the wall, and we're going to find your chair. You've done a little bit of opening of the shoulders, a little bit of retraction. We've given them a little bit more, a little bit more boing. That's not technical at all, but a little bit more kind of power again with those little push-ups. So what we are potentially going to do is some handstand prep on the chair. You might, so looking at my chair here, I'm going to turn it side on so that I don't have the back in my way, but I'm going to come to kneel on my surface and bring my hands to the floor. And it might be that this is kind of where you stay for now. Hands under the shoulders, arms completely straight, and then just leaning a bit more weight into the hands, not sinking between the shoulders, but pushing the floor away. Looking either straight down between the hands. If you want to challenge yourself chin to chest, you can do. If you are working towards a handstand, in particular if you're starting out, I would recommend that you keep your eye line down between your hands to help you balance. Tucking the chin to the chest is next level. Hopefully you're still in that kneeling handstand, you're still pushing the floor away, the tummy is pulling in, the arms are dead straight. 3, 2, 1, walking the hands back and lifting out of it. So hopefully that was kind of fine. So then if you want to take it further, you'll come off of your knees and onto your feet. So from your kneeling position, you're going to have to take the hands further away from your chair, tucking the toes under. Make sure your hands are about shoulder width apart and not too narrow, preferably not too wide. Lifting the hips into the air on the balls of the feet. And again, trying to lean your shoulders over your wrists. Bum nice and high, pulling the tummy in, push the floor away with the arms dead straight. Shoulders up to the ears for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You might want to step your feet down in front of your chair. You might want to come back to kneel. Dismount, not so important. All right? Again, same. So one more time like that, and this time, if you want something else to think about, I don't know if you were doing this already, but from that handstand position with the feet on the chair, so you're in that pike, you want to try and pull your tummy in so that so that your hips, so these are my hips, are pulling right up and over the shoulders, and you're using the abdominals to almost lift them higher into the air so that we're not in too much of a lean. Obviously that's going to make it harder for your shoulders, going to get your core going as well. Welcome to stay with just the kneeling. Welcome to just work on the confidence as well of getting that kind of pike position. If hands or shoulders or any other part of the body is going, no, don't do it. If you wanted to take it in off the chair as well, you could just take a short downward facing dog and work on leaning the weight into the shoulders there. Great. Once you find that pike position or wherever you are going to be, loading up the shoulders, do make sure the abdominals are switched on. Really try and push the floor away. Jen, get your hands in a bit closer to each other if you can. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Push the floor away. Shoulders are up to the ears, pulling the tummy in. So if your feet are on the chair, you're right on the balls of the feet. Good. 3, 2, awesome. 1, nice. Relax, release, collapse. I don't know what the right word is there. It's looking good. It's looking good. So we are going to go for one more round. And this is, again, going to make it a little bit more challenging, but it's also going to be a challenge in terms of confidence. So if you're feeling really comfortable, great. If you're not too sure, then you can take it or leave it. But you're going to take that same pike position. Again, this is all optional. You're going to take that same pike position. She says, ugh. And then maybe from there, you're going to lift either one heel into your bum. If you're going to go up to the ceiling, you want to make sure that foot isn't coming back behind you. So heel into bum is quite a nice one. And then trying to really bring knee to chest and almost round the back of the body. Does that make sense? So we don't want to create a banana back. If you feel good to lift one foot up, start with heel to bum, then try and pull your knee into chest. Maybe at that point, Alex, see if you could really straighten the elbows. It might be the angle of where the camera is actually. Sorry. So if you're going for that leg lift, heel to bum, then pull the knee into the chest, Annie. Great. Yeah, that's it. Try and keep the shoulders over the wrist, really pushing the floor away. Push with the arms, push with the arms, push with the arms. If you've done both legs, great. If you want to take a little breather before you go into second leg, definitely valid. That's it, Freddie, good. Well done. Bring that knee into your chest, Freddie. That's it, good. See if you can use your abdominal, pull the bum up a little bit higher. Good, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. Good, you guys. Well done, strong in the arms. Trying to still breathe, try not to panic. Push with the arms, push, 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 push. Elbows are completely straight and you're resting, relaxing, collapsing, all of the above whenever you need to. Good. Well done. Let's ditch the chairs and just take a quick standing flow to kind of get everything moving again and release into the shoulders. Everyone okay? Yeah. Okay, I'd be glad you made it, Teresa. Okay, awesome. So standing at the top of your mat. Really good work, guys. Stand at the top of your mat. Have a moment to arrive there. So we're going to take eagle arms with the right elbow on top. Now these eagle arms are going to stay for a little while, but if it's feeling a bit much, just let the arms go, do whatever you want to do. From there, you're either going to take an eagle pose, lifting the left leg, crossing it over, bending the right knee, or you're going to take that figure four position, so crossing left ankle over right thigh, but either way, you're getting down into the legs. And see if you can just gently draw the elbows towards the thighs, towards the knee. Come to standing and extend the left leg out in front of you. 3, 2, 1. Sweep it back, warrior 3. Take your time. Same again, left knee into the chest, taking it either into your eagle or your figure four. Little fold, crunch, perhaps of elbows towards shins or thighs or knees. Up to standing, extend the left leg in front of you. 3, 2, good. 1, sweep it back, warrior 3. From your warrior 3, this time you're either going to step it back into a high lunge or a traditional warrior 1, your choice. With a little bit of a high release, a little bit of a back bend, you're welcome to release the arms. From your lunge, do release the arms, turn 90 degrees to your left, and we're taking it into Skandasana squat. Bit of time. So a couple of options to stay in your side lunge, to take a few kind of pulses, lifting up and melting down into, if you want more challenge, or a different challenge rather, then maybe you're going to try taking your bum down to the mat and standing back up again. Without using your hands. Okay, so take a bit of time. And once you've done there, you're just going to come up through standing, pivot, hands come down to the top of your mat, stepping back into a downward facing dog, moving through a vinyasa if you want it, or maybe just taking some time in your down dog or in a child's pose. Before you make your way back up to standing. I'm just going to take that same little kind of mini flow on the second side. So it will be when you get the left elbow over the top for your eagle arms, and take a moment to find yourself, steady yourself before you take your first eagle or figure four squat. Definitely bending standing leg, moving the hips back. Seeing if you can move the elbows towards thighs or shins. Up to standing, extend the right leg out in front of you. For 3, 2, 1, sweep it back, warrior 3. So all the time we're trying to stabilize the lower back, keep the core strong and secure. Bring the right knee in towards the chest. Allow your standing leg to be responsive, to bend and straighten as you need. Back into your eagle or your figure four once again. Little tap of the elbows. Extending right leg in front of you as you come to stand. 3, 2, 1. Sweep it back. Warrior 3. For landing into your lunge or your warrior 1, maybe adding a little high release, a little back bend. Before coming all the way up and out, turning 90 degrees to your right to come into that Skandasana side lunge play. Before again, making your way slowly, so it's me falling over, making your way slowly back to the top of your mat, hands down, downward facing dog, vinyasa, child's pose. But know that this transition here is going to take you towards your Shavasana. Of course, any other little bits and pieces that you want to throw in. You feel like, oh, the hamstrings or the quads or the outer hips just need a little bit extra. Have a moment. Awesome. So if you're still moving, do what you need to do. When you're ready to take your Shavasana, finding that position, finding that stillness. And the energy might still feel a little bit high, a little bit fizzy. We've gone from moving quite a lot to coming straight down into Shavasana. So maybe taking a few focused breaths, maybe with some longer exhales. Help to calm, to ground, to contain. please, if you want to, if you have a bit more time to spare, maybe take a few extra minutes in Shavasana. If you're ready to move out of that, starting to do so in a way that feels kind of kind and instinctive. Making your way perhaps up to a comfortable seat. You are welcome to stay lying down. As always, a bit of time as you find your seat to move your body. Just check in, maybe with shoulder, wrists, spines, hips, any part of the body that might be giving you a little bit of feedback, or perhaps not giving you as much feedback as you might have expected. Taking a moment to just acknowledge the work that you've just done. To give yourself a bit of a pat on the back, getting out of bed on a Saturday and getting on your mat, regardless of how you feel it went. Well done. Hopefully everything's feeling all right. And I think we might do something similar next week, because personally that felt quite good. I don't know about you guys, do let me know. Also, there was a load of, I realised that I basically had planned probably about 2 hours worth of class. That's an exaggeration, probably about an hour and a half's worth of class. So if you have a strong preference, I actually would like to do a little bit more of the drill type stuff, or no, that was a good balance, or whatever, do let me know, because there are a few more drills which I can either add in next week, do it because maybe spend a bit less time on the flows, maybe do that first flow only once, throw in some extra drills on top of what we've done, or switch some out. Again, if you're like, I don't mind, no problem, but if you have a preference, do let me know. But well done. Have a lovely weekend and a lovely week. And hopefully I'll
Thank you.
Yeah, I think for more of the same, probably.
Yeah, more. That was really good. It's almost maybe like alternate weeks to do that, if you like, because what I tell you, when I said my shoulders are really tight, it was so nice to actually